Hi everybody, today we're making handmade pasta. So we're going to start off with a fairly large bowl, and to that bowl we're going to add a cup of flour. So we're going to create a well in that flour. I'm doing that with a measuring cup, but you can do that with your hands if you'd like. And we're going to add our liquids to that well. So I'm adding one large egg to the well, and then we're adding 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup of water. This can be cold water, it could be warm water, it's really up to you. And then we're going to add our olive oil. So after we've added all our liquid ingredients, we're going to start stirring it. Here I'm using a fork to break up the yolk, and we're slowly incorporating the flour until all the flour has been used up and we create a ball like so. You can see it's a crumbly mixture, and I am doing the rest with my hands, and I'm kneading the dough by pinching it and turning it inside out. It might seem like quite a dry dough, but eventually you should be able to take all the extra flour and be able to incorporate it into your ball of dough like so. Now I'm going to take that ball of dough and I'm going to put it into a plastic grocery bag, one of those cheap free bags that you can get at the grocery store, and I'm going to start kneading it. So you can see I'm punching it with my fists, I'm using my elbows, uh, and then I'm folding it over using the bag itself. And I'm going to do that for a couple minutes until the dough feels springy and it feels like it's fighting back. And I prefer this method as opposed to a traditional method because it's cleaner. I don't have to add additional flour to the mixture, and it's quite fun to beat the dough up with my elbows and my arms and my forearms. So as you can see, the dough is getting smoother and smoother the more I work at it. I just keep folding the dough over and over itself. And here I'm poking it, and you can see the dough is quite elastic and it's springing back. So when it gets to that point after a couple minutes, you set it aside for at least 10 minutes so that the dough can rest. Here the dough has been resting for at least 10 minutes, and you can see that the dough is a little bit softer. So here I am using my hands to push the dough out until it's a bit flatter. I don't want to start with a ball when I start using a rolling pin. Here I'm actually cutting the dough. I'm going to cut it into quarters or whatever size fits your palate. You can see here that I'm actually considering cutting a little bit smaller, but then I changed my mind because the quarters are actually a workable size. So I'm going to put the remainder of the dough that I'm not working with back into the plastic bag so it doesn't dry out. So now that I have my piece of dough that I'm going to be working with, I'm going to further flatten it out by stretching it. And at this point, if you have a pasta roller, you can go ahead and roll out your pasta with the pasta machine. But here I didn't have one, so I'm just going to roll it out with my little rolling pin. And this is a cheap little rolling pin that we got at the Chinese grocery market for $2. It's usually used to make dumplings. Here I'm cutting the dough with my knife, and you can see that the dough is not that sticky, and I can just easily remove it from my sheet or my liner. Here this is an oven liner. I find it quite useful to make pasta. And then when you're done, you add the pasta to boiling water, and it doesn't matter if the pasta is sticking right now to the plate, but once you put it in the hot water, it's important to agitate the pasta so it doesn't stick when it hits the water. So here I'm doing that with some chopsticks, but you can do it with a spoon or a fork. And I'm just loosening the pasta up. As you can see, it's no longer sticking to each other. And then here's the final result after 2 minutes. Here I'm adding it to my beef stroganoff sauce. You can see the pasta is springy and it's very chewy, and the pasta is actually doubled in size since I boiled it. So you want to make sure that the pasta is a good thinness before you start boiling it. And here's the final result.